And the Talk Shop Candidate Awareness Tour 2026 returns in Studio 255 at the Laramie Plains Civic Center. Want to bring this segment to you from the Wild Bunch Trading Post Farm Stand, 1951, Snowy Range Road in West Laramie, right neighboring the Snowy Range Flea Market. And those two businesses are proud to tell you that the Woo Fest is scheduled for Windy Woo and Girl Crush in a 2-day feature music festival, August 21st and 22nd. Tickets and ticket information available online now at the Talk Shop and the Wild Bunch Trading Post Farm Stand on social media. Your opportunity to enjoy summer fun days, and that's just one of the aspects we're featuring here on the program. And tomorrow night, Ned Ledoux will be at Saratoga Days, 8 p.m. Stage time for Ned Ledoux in Saratoga, Wyoming, part of Saratoga Days, 6:30 in the morning tomorrow morning. If you're a runner, run for the health of it in Saratoga, Wyoming, at the Saratoga Platte Valley Chamber of Commerce. And their 5K, that 5K course, little flat section, little hilly, up down. You know the routine. Being 27 years in the military, our candidate in Studio 255 right here, Kevin Christensen, running for U.S. Congress in 2026 election cycle. Kevin, how much PT included the running, one foot then the other?
Oh yeah, running, and that's how I keep my sanity. I'm a runner. Been a runner my whole life, and it keeps you physically fit. It keeps you mentally strong, and it's a great way to manage stress. And yeah, I love going across the state and try to catch different 5Ks and things like that where I can.
Other feature highlights of tomorrow, July 4th, in Laramie, Wyoming, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Washington Park. You can enjoy Freedom Has a Birthday. 35 years strong, that history of that event in our community. The city of Laramie and the community starting with a big day, and you will be there. Tell us about that occasion for Freedom Has a Birthday in your campaign.
Well, of all the places to be for the 4th of July weekend, I remember, the celebrations down here, and I decided this is where I wanted to be for the 4th of July. Great opportunity for folks to learn a little bit more about me, but just to be a part of the celebration. I tell people, as a young man, I still remember the bicentennial celebration in 1976, being on Center Street, 10-year-old at the time, and horses and candidates and the red, white, and blue, the feeling of just being proud to be an American. I still remember that day, and I want new memories of the 250th.
You have been campaigning for going on 4 months now in the state of Wyoming, and as you traveled, key issues have been brought up. If you don't mind, recap some of those most heard, most often discussed in the state of Wyoming from citizens to you.
So I think local control would probably be at the top of that. And specifically, it's about those major federal actions that take place on the lands in Wyoming that are federally managed. Forest Service lands, BLM lands. Almost half our land is federally managed on the surface. 2/3 of the mineral estate underneath is managed by the federal government. Yet today, we have those laws favor an unelected bureaucrat in Washington, D.C., has more authority than the governor of the state of Wyoming for what takes place in lands in Wyoming. I think that's out of balance. People all across Wyoming tell me that's out of balance. We've got to change that. So I'm specifically proposing 3 laws that we would amend to bring that control more in balance with our governor, our senior elected official for Wyoming, to have more authority. There'll be the Federal Land Policy Management Act, the Multiple Use and Sustained Yield Act, and the National Environmental Policy Act. And what we would do is those laws today do have a touch point with the governor, and it's called the Governor's Consistency Review. And all it does is let the governor for 60 days have input. But we've seen there's no authority of the governor to be able to say yes or no and gain concurrence. They can steamroll over, just like the Biden administration did with public lands rule, Rock Springs Resource Management Plan, coal in the Powder River Basin. And that really opened my eyes to say, this is out of balance. So I know those laws. I've worked with those laws for 6 years. We're going to amend those so that when those major federal actions take place in Wyoming, our governor gets an equal footing, not where an unelected official in DC, just an agency person, has more authority. We're going to bring them on par, because that's what balance looks like.
One indicator that media provides, different candidates will update the community on polling.
Yes.
Who's doing polling for your race in the state of Wyoming for Congress?
So there's a number of ways that the polling comes from, and there's objective and non-objective versions of that. Some candidates pay for it, and Chuck Gray did one, but kind of put a foot on the scale by providing information on some candidates and not other candidates. And I think you should consider, if it's paid for by a particular candidate, whether or not that is accurate information. Polling that matters comes from media or an independent polling company that is not paid for by a particular candidate. That's information, I think, that matters.
Who's provided one of those polls that we could reference for our listeners?
Well, the most recent one, Open Range Record, had one. There's one that I think will be coming out relatively soon by an independent polling company, just based off of a conversation that I had from a person who was with that polling company. And what I've told the people who ask me about that, I say, pay attention to a source where your information comes from. If your source for that information is from a candidate or from a political action committee that is paid for by the candidate or their supporters, you should consider that with a grain of salt, because they can put their foot on the scale and tilt it their direction.
Don't hold us in suspense. Where is your campaign? Where have you and your campaign, where have you ranked? Where are you at in the state? 10 candidates vying for U.S. Congress in this race. Big news. Tell us.
We're up to number 3, and we're climbing and we're growing in support all across the state. The message that I have is resonating. People are looking for an alternative, from Teton County billionaires to career politicians. They want someone that is going to work for them. And here's the one thing that really differentiates me, that is resonating with people across the state. I make it clear I will not follow a national political agenda. I will not take my orders from the political party. I will not take my orders from the President of the United States of America. Other candidates are all saying, I will follow the Trump doctrine. I will follow what I'm told to do in D.C. I am not going to do that. We get one voice in the U.S. House of Representatives. That person ought to know who they work for, and that's simple. That's the people of Wyoming. And that's not just Republicans. That is all Wyoming. We have one voice in the House of Representatives, and that person needs to have leadership. They need to be from Wyoming, and they have to be willing to represent the people of Wyoming in the face of politics and the party telling you to toe a line. If it's not right for Wyoming, our representatives should not go along with it. You put me in Congress, I will do what's right for the people of Wyoming and the people of the United States of America. I will not be bullied into doing what the party wants me to do. I'm aligned with the Republican Party, but I do not work for the party.
One question comes in on the Talk Shop text line. It's regarding water. Wyoming's future, they say, depends on what happens with water going forward in America. What do you know regarding the Colorado River Compact in the states, as well as other water issues as a federal candidate?
Well, I think it's clear that we're not going to get to an agreement on the Colorado River Compact. Secretary of Interior has been quoted as saying, he's really wanting to push for an interim agreement, because I think the pact's going to expire and we're not going to have something new in place. Secretary is not wanting to put his foot on the scale and say what we're going to do, because he's counting on some interim agreements. I don't think that's going to happen. What we have to do in Wyoming is we have to have a solution that works in drought years, and we have to have it work in years when we're a major water exporter. We've got lots of snowpack, and that water can go down the Colorado River. Whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting, and in Wyoming, we're absolutely going to fight for our water rights. And I think our governor, working with the Secretary of Interior, is what's going to have to be that solution for the short term when the pack expires.
Is Wyoming's government officials, elected officials, are they fighting hard enough for Wyoming's interests going forward?
I've watched Governor Gordon pretty closely on this, and I'll say I think Governor Gordon is in the right place for where he's trying to position Wyoming on it. I think that our delegation in D.C. understands how important that is. Are they fighting hard enough? Let's see. Proof is what happens next.
Kevin Christensen, today on the Talk Shop Candidate Awareness Tour 2026. He's running for U.S. Congress, and you can find out more detail on Christensen, 2026.org, and that's Christensen with 2 E's. As you spell it out, you can find it on the Talk Shop social media page, and you can find it right here going forward into the July 21st, 2026 open primary early voting period for the August 18th primary in Wyoming. And that's going to be an important date where 10 vying for U.S. Congress will come down to 2 candidates. So go forward to the or actually, would there be 4 with the Libertarian and a Constitutional Party candidate, or the others?
That's what
one. You're leading one from the primary from each of those. I am not aware of a candidate from any other than the Democrat or the Republican, so I always have to do new research and make sure that I'm abreast of that. But we appreciate you coming in. You've made Laramie a priority. Tell us about that, and perhaps cover anything we didn't ask, we should have, and we don't want to miss before you leave.
Well, for me, coming back to Laramie is important because this is where it all began for me. My wife and I met here at Wyoming Hall. We've been married 36 years. It's a special place for us. But the people of Laramie have been good to us. Tough questions. I think people in this county, in this city, are engaged in the politics. They want to be sure that the person that they have representing them is the right person. That's why I come back here, because I believe the people here are absolutely wanting to engage. They give me great feedback, and my message resonates with them. So important for me in my campaign is to carry Laramie and Albany County, and I'm investing my time here to make that happen.
You'll have an opportunity to visit with Kevin Christensen tomorrow, July 4th, as Freedom Has a Birthday kicks off 10 a.m. in Washington Park, and will go till 4 p.m. And you want to ask the questions. He's got a table. He's going to be available to you for that period of time, and we appreciate you making the Talk Shop part of your campaign trail, as the campaign trail runs through our classroom. And this is a segment brought to you by WooFest, Wild Bunch Trading Post Farm Stand, and Logan Ranch, hosting WooFest with Windy Woo and Girl Crush, August 21st and 22nd, 2026. It's an outdoor music festival not to miss. Its first year and subsequent years will support that 501c3 organization unique to Wyoming, Broken Bandit Wildlife Center, just outside Cheyenne. We'll find out more details and be sharing those with you going forward. Not to forget, wholesale fireworks, July 3rd and 4th, 2 nights of Safe Shoot. 35 acres for you to barbecue, tent, and camp out and enjoy other people's fireworks as well as your wholesale fireworks right there, just minutes south of Laramie, 1348 U.S. Highway 287. I'm Eric Henderson, and this is The Talk Shop.